I just can't get past this whole thing in terms of the president's obsession with making Canada the 51st state. Because the best description I've heard is sort of like the guy who repeatedly jokes about beating his wife. It's funny once or twice, but everyone gets more and more nervous every time it's said. And I just don't see the upside here. And it's all out. One upside for Canada is that Pierre Poliva and the Conservative Party that were up by 20 points, 30 points, or even 10 points in Quebec, where they haven't won anything since the 80s. Now, Mark Carney and the Liberal Party are ahead or at the very worst tied. So it's obviously going to give Trump the exact opposite of the government that he wants, but it's also turning Canadians against us. And I guess my idea is, again, it gets this president, he's really starting to show more bark than bite. And so he needs to figure out what's his Crimea going to be. And I heard a great trivia fact the other day that the largest tourist attraction in Canada is Niagara Falls. And
Hmm.
I've been to Niagara Falls. I don't know if you folks have, but
Yes.
Yeah.
the Canadian side is a much better side. There's more hotels, there's more tourism. They have all the watchtowers. So I think Niagara Falls and the beautiful town Niagara on the Lake, that should be Trump's Crimea. Just take that at first, next that, and then you can go from there. So come on, Mr. President, put up or shut up. But all kidding aside, I just am wondering why he is such a dog with a bone of this. And even Carolyn Levitt, who I granted is just a very consistent mouthpiece for the president, she was going on and talking about stupid things like, well, their tax rates are lower and blah will be lower and all that. But what do you folks think about this? How about you, Ashley?
I think this is just part of the rhetoric in a larger deal. I mean, it is kind of mind-boggling, I do agree, but here's what I think. Obviously, exactly what you said. Carney has been getting so much good press over fighting with the president, but now that the election has been called and we know it's going to happen at the end of April, you'll continue to see both sides see who can criticize the US and the president the most. And I guarantee this is one of those things we need to come back and visit. As soon as the election's over, no matter who wins, the first phone call that's going to happen or the first visit from the new leader of Canada will be either to Mar-a-Lago or to the White House, because you even saw
Mhm.
Carney say in the last few days, we have to stop this rhetoric and start negotiating in true faith in regards to some of these tariffs. Uh, this is a perfect storm in regards to the election happening right now or soon to be in Canada, because it's typical political theater of how much they're going after the president. And obviously, it's been brought Canada together more than ever before. And so I think this is going to continue to play out. But I think it's going to be, first of all, I don't think they're gonna become the 51st state, obviously, same as
Yeah.
Greenland. But I also think that they'll start the rhetoric's getting old, as you said, it's kinda old on both sides, and so there has to be true negotiations on this. And they're not gonna shut down American energy, to Maine either. I mean, it's just all positioning.
Yeah, a
What
lot
do
of
you
posturing going on there. I mean, again, I think this is such an absurd, horse to chase. There is no scenario in which Canada becomes part of the United States of America.
And by the
That's it.
way, if they did, there wouldn't be a Republican president elected for the
Right.
foreseeable
All
future.
those voters would be voting with the Democratic Party. That would be two new Democratic senators. It'd also be the largest state you could
Yeah,
possibly imagine. It's ridiculous. I mean,
yeah.
it's logistically impossible. Um, but this is Trump. I'm going to just say something absolutely ludicrous. People are going to talk about it, and it becomes almost a punchline in his speeches, at his rallies, at fundraising dinners. It's all posturing. It's all about what ends up happening when they get to the negotiating table once the election comes and goes. And I mean, if anything, Donald Trump is Carney's best friend.
Mhm.
Carney's going to win this election because of Donald Trump, and few people have a more unifying effect than Donald Trump, which is usually unifying against him in this case. Um, so again, I think it's entertaining to talk about. It's one of those um, fun hypothetical games to play with, but ultimately this is all about the trade war and the tariffs and negotiating position. I think Donald Trump is not in a very strong negotiating position in terms of, well, come to the table or else I'm going to annex you. I don't think that's really going to get the job done, but um, we'll see. I mean, he has fundamentally altered the political trajectory of this country, though, because I don't think if this doesn't happen, I don't think that someone like Carney wins that election.
No,
Absolutely.
no,
No,
yes.
I don't think anyone in Canada. I mean, there's a great podcast called or website called The Hub, and they have a great podcast, and they do all kinds. It's fun to get the Canadian perspective, just like I love getting the British perspective from The Economist. But they were saying, some of the ads that were going on that are being shown, and it's really playing. And Quebec is really the canary in the coal mine, because I think that's the biggest liberal majority in the entire country, and even there they were tied, which was amazing. So I don't see how he loses. But